You're listening to Edge Radio TV. The views and opinions expressed in this program are that of the host or guests, and not the Edge Radio Network or its advertisers or affiliates.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I'm Jennifer Reed.
Now I'm Hendrix Scott, and we're here to entertain and delight you with our sexual health topics.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how much today is going to be delightful and entertaining, but we will try our very damn best.
We do our best. We take heavy subjects and we do our best,
That's true.
But we are licensed marriage and family therapists as well as certified sex therapists who work right here in Houston, Texas.
H-Town.
Yeah.
Before we get to our main topic, I did want to touch base. I thought it was this week, but apparently it was last week, was Infertility Awareness Week. And so I wanted to make sure that we did touch on that. My bad. I mixed the weeks up, but it was last week, not this week. But it affects 1 in 8 couples. It's a pretty, I'm doing the tapping thing again. It's a pretty common scenario or situation. And so many of the people, couples that are infertile don't even know why. They don't even have the answers.
Yeah.
So,
It's an issue we see fairly often.
It's an issue I've struggled with.
Yeah.
Like, when I was married, my ex-husband and I were trying to have a baby. Or as I like to say, I was trying. He was not.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother story. But yeah, we were told there's no reason why the two of you shouldn't be able to have a baby naturally. Like, everything's fine. We did all the doctor's visits. We did everything, and still no baby.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, it's hard. I empathize with all the people out there that are dealing with it and struggling with it.
I don't know. Maybe it came from just because I see a bunch of queer clients, but I've started seeing people probably like 2 years ago with their donors or like potential donors in session.
Cool.
So that we can all like talk about, like if it's an infertility thing and like talk about, boundaries and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway.
It's another heavy topic, but it's okay.
We'll probably hit upon it eventually on another show and dive deeper into infertility and maybe have either an infertility specialist or a couple that's been struggling with it, or both.
Yeah, or both. Let us know. Let us know what you want. And Anne touched on it a bit with the endometriosis episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, by the way, or did you say everything you needed to say? Because I was going to kick it to what I was doing this weekend.
What were you doing this weekend?
Stalking Bailey Sarian for the both of us.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah. Who doesn't think Bailey Sarian's amazing?
You better not have any raised hands outside TV land, or we will come through the screen.
She went live on IG, and I've never actually like went and listened to a person live. I don't know. It's like not really my age group, but it's like hail to the yeah. So I was trying to get her attention. I was like, Sex on the Edge. We love you. Come see us. And I was trying to just get her to do it. I was trying to just like wave and be like, say hello. It's my new mission now.
Okay.
We're going to tag her.
You
and be
have
like,
so many missions. I can't even keep track of them.
I'm a busy gal.
You want Oprah to adopt you. I want Katie Morgan to like come be on our show. She's probably never gonna.
I want to date Demi Lovato and Bailey Sarian.
Yeah. You still want to date Demi Lovato after this whole like frozen yogurt debacle?
Oh, the frozen yogurt.
That was very
okay. Our next guest, we were just talking about that this weekend. So explain the frozen yogurt debacle.
Oh gosh. So I don't. You probably know better than me because I had one of my clients that just explained it to me because I don't follow the news. But apparently she like walked into a store, a frozen yogurt store. Self-serve frozen yogurt place, and they had like healthy options. And she got pissed off because she said that it like triggered her eating disorders that she used to have.
Yeah.
And then left, something along those lines. And now like she's getting a lot of heat.
Yes, because the public opinion, from my understanding, is that our next guest so kindly explained to me, is that the thing we hear the most about whenever we're talking about like being politically correct is that it's things like that take away from the seriousness of subjects and things that we do need to address.
Sure.
And then things that are oh my God, you're calling it fat free, and I'm triggered, and I'm like having a meltdown in the parking lot at a frozen yogurt thing. Like,
right.
We can't live in a world where every single trigger that we have is made to go away, because it's impossible. So I feel like what people were trying to say to her was, yes, things can trigger you. Yes, it's still your responsibility to have the tools and knowledge and wherewithal to be able to calm yourself down and call whoever you need to call and stand by while that's happening. Not necessarily blow up an entire frozen yogurt shop for using the term fat free.
Yeah. I guess to me, and so somebody might correct me if I'm wrong, it felt like a very privileged thing for her to like blow up the yogurt shop.
Yeah.
And I was like, really, dude?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, I don't expect my potential partners to be perfect, so I'm still willing to.
I do.
I'm
single,
to go on
not
a date.
ready to mingle yet. But my future partner, if you're out there watching, you better be fucking perfect. Just kidding. You just better be able to throw my ass around. That's all I ask for. But we're not there yet. So don't call in. Don't leave messages. You're going to get blocked, and it's not going to happen, because I need to go do some healing, and not just sexual healing.
Yeah.
Real deep healing.
Valid. Totally valid.
I'm not looking forward to that. Anywho.
Says the therapist.
Look, therapy is hard. Look, I get it. Like, for those people that are out there that are like, do I go back to therapy, or do I go to therapy in general? I mean, it's hard. It's not an easy thing to go through. Yeah. So, and a lot of therapists have actually been through therapy themselves or in therapy themselves. So we do actually get how difficult it is to find a therapist that you like and trust, to even just take that step to even call a therapist to say, like, I need to work through some shit.
Yeah, I say it all the time when people are like, oh, I just don't want to go. I'm like, I don't want to see my own damn therapist. I get it. Like, I'm just saying, if you have things to work with, it would behoove you and those around you and those that you love to heal and do the work and stop dicking around.
Yeah, I mean, even last week was my first session in a long time, and I wanted to vomit. I was texting you and telling you, I want to vomit right now. So I get the anxiety that even going to therapy to work on your anxiety can bring.
I know. Oh my God, those clients where they're like, what am I here for? Anxiety. Are you okay? I'm just having anxiety. I'm like, y'all are amazing.
It's so true. I calmed down within like the first 10 to 15 minutes, but like leading up to it, I was definitely like,
yeah, you were. I'm proud of you. You did the damn thing.
I did it in a 2-hour session, no less.
2-hour sessions are something else, man. Like,
Lord,
going through them and doing them is like, whoa.
Dude, I don't even like scheduling 2-hour sessions with my clients. And so when they're like, can I have a 2-hour session? I'm like, oh God, why? Okay, you need one. I get it.
I get it. I'll do it. Yeah. I'm just going to take a water break in between.
Yeah, or a pee break.
Yeah, breather. For sure.
For sure. I build in time in between. Anyway, should we move on? Should we? I did not have Dr. Pepper today. I should have. Should we move to our main topic of discussion?
Faux show.
Faux shizzle.
Faux to the show.
So today we are talking about sex trafficking. It's heavy. It's heavy. And it's important because you guys, like, we live in one of the top states in the nation that with sex trafficking, and
the top
Houston is one of, if not the top city, depending on the given year. Sometimes it's first, second, or third. Sometimes, it changes, but we are definitely up there in the top city for not only just having human trafficking here, but also for being a hub for leading into other cities where there is human trafficking.
H-Town, don't change that dial. It is our responsibility to inform ourselves on this shit so that we can do better, or we can like see signs or help. Because like today will be specifically teens, because our wonderful guest works with teens at an inpatient center where he sees teen clients come in who've been sex trafficked. It's a big ass deal.
It is a big ass deal.
Yeah, and I try to get my families, I try to just hammer it down and be like, look, your kids are this age, like you need to know more about this, and like it's fine. And I'm like, it's really not fine.
It's really not fine.
It's really, really not. Like, if you live in Houston, you have to put some awareness in your in your pockets, like you just got to know some stuff so that you can be aware. There
was a recent episode, I don't know who out there is still watching Grey's Anatomy and TV Land, I am. So, but there
I guessed in our audience just raised their hand.
Yay! So there was at the end of last season and towards the beginning of this season, they hit on sex trafficking with, I think she was a teenager as well, or very, very young adult, but I believe teenager. And so those were some really interesting episodes as well. So I'm glad it's getting some public awareness. And we as clinicians now are required to take a human trafficking course before we can become therapists at this point, and then before renewal. So
because we need to be able to identify if it's happening in front of us.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. Like, we're starting to see some changes where they're recognizing, like, we need to be more aware of this. So for awareness, let's do a quick definition. Human trafficking, as I think the Trafficking Victims Protection Act that was started in 2000 defines it, is a crime that involves exploiting a person for labor.
Yeah,
it is a crime.
You got this.
I got it. That involves exploiting a person for labor, services, or commercial sex. And then specifically, what we're talking about today, sex trafficking, is in which a commercial sex act is induced by force, fraud, coercion, or in which the person induced to perform such act has not attained 18 years of age.
Yeah. So. And then I found these two stats to be the most alarming, where it said human trafficking, about 300,000 people in Texas at any given moment. 300,000 people are being human trafficked.
And that's just
at any given moment.
That's just in Texas. That doesn't include Washington, D.C., which is up there as one of the top places, New York, Florida, California, or, as I just recently learned, Nevada, because of Vegas, baby.
Yeah.
So
Reno.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, 80,000 minor youth victims of sex trafficking in Texas at any given moment. So that's a big number.
Those are huge.
Yeah.
Huge. I feel like with numbers like that, you've probably, if you live in a bigger city, you've probably come across somebody.
I bet it's kind of, it seems highly improbable that you wouldn't have known someone or passed someone who was being trafficked, and you wouldn't
even know.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even know. So on that note, when we come back, we will come back with our guest. We're super excited to have him here. And we will be talking all about sex trafficking, specifically with teenagers. So stay tuned for Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen on Edge Radio TV.
Aren't you tired of not getting what you want in bed?
Are you ready to spice things up behind those closed doors?
Woo! We're here for you every hump day at 7 p.m.
This is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I'm Jennifer Reeves.
And I'm Hendrik Scott, and we are professional licensed sex therapists.
So remember to watch us Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Edge Radio TV, just in time for sexy time.
Hey guys, this is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen with Edge Radio TV. I'm Hendrik Scott.
And I'm Jennifer Reeves.
Today, we are here with a wonderful, amazing guest who we are lucky enough to have on our show. And he's also one of my best friends, so be nice to him or I'll punch you in the face.
Top tier member.
Yes, top tier. So, Tyler.
I have the diamond.
Yes, you do, for our fan club. So, Tyler Hodges is a licensed marriage and family therapist who works at a residential treatment center for youth 12 to 17. And you have hella experience with youth and sex trafficking.
Or just youth in general. Yeah.
Yeah, youth in general. Yeah.
Which involves a lot of sex. In general also.
So tell us about, like, first kind of what you do so that they can understand, like, what your purpose of your job is to do.
Yeah. So I essentially work with high-level care needs for children who have either been trafficked, who have suicidal ideation, self-injurious behaviors, and lower levels of care just aren't safe enough for them to be out and about in the real world. And so they come to us, usually typically from a hospital setting, and they stick with us for 60 to 90 days until we get them stable enough to where we feel like they have the treatment foundation to move somewhere else to a lower level of care, outpatient, typically intensive outpatient, and which just looks a little bit different. You have groups there. And then hopefully to people like you guys or their parents, I'll send to you guys.
Yeah. I was like, I'll take the parents.
I don't see kids.
You. Yes.
Right, mostly the parents. I'll send to y'all.
Yeah, there's only two families where I see their teens, and like I cut it off at that. I'm done.
Yeah, I've only seen a couple too, and they were dealing with, they were working on transitioning, so.
Oh yeah, no. I see mostly families.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask, do you do family therapy or just individual therapy with the kids?
Yeah, so I fancified my schedule with our bosses. So I have 7 families and 3 individual cases typically. So I do mostly family work as much as I can.
Gotcha.
There, because
nice.
That's what I got a license in, and so
yeah. So when the parents start coming in, are they aware that some of their children have been trafficked, or like?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, wow.
We get a lot of contract stuff from DSHS and stuff like that that come in, and their parents are like, "This is a reunification program, so we want you to bring them back in with their lives and get them connected again with their parents after being with their traffickers for such a long period of time and things like that."
Wow.
Some parents are utterly clueless that their kids are being trafficked, and I have to explain that to them as well.
You've had to look in a parent's eyes and say your kid has been sex trafficked.
Well, that they're being exploited in some form or way, which falls under sex trafficking laws in the state of Texas.
Okay, so tell us the difference between exploitation and trafficked.
Yeah, so sex trafficking becomes a thing more specifically when sex becomes involved in it, right? So it's not always the case with our kids. They tend to fall under the more human trafficking route sometimes too, where the exploitation piece comes in. So exploitation really is just having power over someone and using that against them in some form or fashion to get a need or a want really met, not so much a need. They don't need anything from a child.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And so we tend to look at it more as exploitation, especially legally too, when we're trying to find out like what is going on, because of like going back to your guys' episode on what was it? Decriminalizing sex work, right?
Yeah. Right.
That's something that's been going on a lot longer in Texas specifically because of our extensive sex trafficking stuff in the city, to make it so that we're not getting teens into the juvenile system anymore, so that they're looking at like, oh, they're not being sex workers, they're being trafficked kids.
Right.
Okay. Trying to say there is a difference between a sex worker
and that's where the big idea of like, let's decriminalize this too, just for like the teens who cannot consent because they cannot consent to any of these things.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, I think that's an important thing to note too, because I think when a lot of people think about sex trafficking, they automatically think it's somebody coming in from a different country that's been kidnapped over there. But your kid can be being trafficked and still living at home with you, and you
probably,
not know.
And don't quote me on this, but like I would say probably like 80% of people who are trafficked actually happen in their home area, right? Their neighborhoods, their school systems. It's not going from foreign countries. Like the amount of kids I've seen that have been trafficked across state lines is minimal in comparison to the kids I've seen who have actually just come in from the city itself.
Right.
Yeah, trying to get parents to know, like, to be like, it's happening here.
Right.
It's happening in your neighborhood.
And your kid can be living at home with you and still be being trafficked.
Yeah. And it's an important thing to like recognize too, is like the difference of like what does trafficking look like now versus what it might think in people's heads. Typically, like they think of like, oh, they're being carried across borders, like they're being dropped off in Colombia or Argentina or some random place, God knows where. And I was like, no, they're probably at your neighbor's house.
Yeah. So
your teachers.
What does the typical kid look like? Like, is it kind of all backgrounds? Is it a particular background, like the family life?
Yeah, I would say typically what we get specifically where I work is low SES kids.
Low
socioeconomic,
sorry.
Socioeconomic status.
Words. And a lot of like LGBTQ youth, kids who have been abused or are abused, or have a history of abuse, typically are easier targets.
Substance abuse, or sorry, you already said that. Okay.
Substance abuse, for sure.
Yeah.
Kids who feel like they're neglected in their own home, whether they might or may not be. Even kids who have separate, like parents are divorced, right? It makes it, because it's harder to keep track sometimes when you're not co-parenting in a home. And so like, sometimes the number of kids in a family home.
Can't keep track of all your kids.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes sense.
So there's just like multiple factors that go into it, but I would definitely say the top ones are like the low socioeconomic status and definitely like the abuse and neglect pieces and substance use history.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you see a breakdown at all in like other demographics like race or gender, or I know you mentioned LGBT like youth in that community are targeted a lot? Yeah,
historically, because LGBTQ youth are more often found running away. Runaways are a big risk, right? Kids who are likely to run away are most likely being trafficked at this point. Especially if they've been gone missing for 24 hours. If they've ever been past 24 hours, there's a chance that they've probably been trafficked at some point in any of their runaway trips. And then, where was I going?
Oh, but side note, real quick. I remember when we were doing like internships at one of the homeless shelters or homeless something, and they said like 80% of women who were homeless would be sexually assaulted within 24 to like 48 hours. And I found that like a gobsmacked number. So now we're talking about put a runaway kid who's already just upset, possibly on drugs, possibly, you don't know, like we're dealing with trauma,
right?
Dealing with trauma, it'd be easy to be like, hey, are you okay? Like maybe no one's asked that kid if they're okay in a week, you know?
Exactly. And then that's the biggest way, that's where the exploitation piece comes in really big, is like they're exploiting their emotional foundation. Right.
Gotcha.
And so they get exploited quite easily when they're feeling like they're lacking an emotional connection to people. And that one person is just like, hey, I feel you. It's going through hard stuff right now. Like, we're here for that.
Yeah,
right?
I know. See, even right now, I'm like, oh, thanks. Of course you're going to do that to a kid.
And then it builds and it grows into things. And it's like, do this favor here, do that favor here. And then it might turn sexual at some point. And then they feel like they're really being loved.
Yeah.
And like, what other teen doesn't want that? Like, they want to be connected. They want to feel loved more than anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Exploiting our human need to be validated, accepted, and loved.
It's good. Like, they're good at it.
That'd be easy for a queer kid who's not being validated, accepted, or loved at their house. Yeah.
Right. And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, but like, you can find love with this other person here too. And oh, like, we're financially providing for you now. Here's new clothes. Here's all these cool things that you want as a teenager.
Right.
And it's like, it's great. This is awesome. This is amazing. And all I have to do is just sleep with these people. And it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Yeah. I can learn to detach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Do they know? Like, do they generally walk in knowing that they've been trafficked? Or do they think it's like a loving relationship?
I would say part of them knows that something messed up happened, but most of the time they're just like completely disassociated from that experience to the point where they're just like, no, like, I love my abuser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's just real.
They take
that's
care
something.
Of me. They treat me. They do better than all my parents ever did for me.
Yeah.
Do you ever see repeats or return clients or patients?
Yeah, we do see repeat clients. They're typically not trafficked kids. Okay. Unfortunately, they tend to end up more in the system itself. And when I say system, I mean the juvenile system, not Department of Family Public Services or something like that.
Okay.
Or protective services.
Got you.
Yeah. Which is crappy. So, like, kids who have been trafficked, even if they go into treatment with us or things like that, they're likely to go back to their abuser regardless of the treatment.
Yeah.
They need like sustained long-term treatment before they can actually go back out. And we're a short-term facility technically because we're only 60 to 90 days technically.
Yeah.
I love that they have you do individual and family therapy together combined, because without the family piece, without the family for them to go back home to, where the hell are they going to go?
Yeah, a lot of the work is rebuilding that connection with the family, right? Because it's been broken so much by the abuse or the abuser.
Yeah. I mean, I worked in a residential treatment center, and that's kind of where I learned that I wanted to go and be an LMFT, because it was very systemic. You see the systemic viewpoint of everything trickles down, and how much of that starts with the family. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Not saying y'all are necessarily bad parents.
Oh, no, not at all. Like, some people have great parents, and it's just like, they just felt like they were missing something, and then that person gave it to them the next thing. And then there's other pieces which we'll get to, but like the internet is a bastard.
Oh yeah. Strap on your boots, people, because we're going after the internet today.
You said strap on, and my mind was
That's exactly where
else.
mine was.
I was like, that is not appropriate for today's topic, Hendrix.
But also,
you're not talking about strap-ons right now.
There was a slight pause, and I was like, boots.
Oh, you did it on
See,
purpose.
we told you we would delight and entertain you at some point in this heavy conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
On that note, when we come back, we will continue talking with Tyler about some things to look for, and we're going to come after the internet and how these people are getting in contact with these kids and staying in contact with these kids. And so yes,
I'm gonna learn today.
Gonna learn today.
Learn some shit, all right, guys, because you needs to, because this could be happening to your kid and you don't even know. So stay tuned for Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen on Edge Radio TV. We'll be right back.
Edge is about community, synergy, and empowerment.
The responsibility be on this? Should we have had a national plan, or should
that the government needs to get out of the way and let people figure it out?
What do you do for your face?
So I do have a skincare line called Infinity Skincare, and welcome back to How You Living on Edge Radio Live. So to Jennifer, I'm just saying live, and I'm out.
Peace.
Can't say we not working, okay?
You cannot say we not working.
Say that we are.
No, they're just ready to get back out there and start sexing up other people.
Yeah.
That we weren't interested in any silver medals. If they wanted to give us the gold medal that we earned.
各位亲爱的观众，我是布卡，今天又到了我们
So hotel kind of vibe.
Well, I mean, I'm
we're
sure he's
turning
like,
down
I don't
to
hear
say,
you
here's the
complaining
dinner,
about
man.
the cheap
Sensation cocktail. This is our first mixed cocktail. We have.
Three.
Very good margarita. Good margarita.
Folks, as always, this is like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get, right? So to the Edge Radio Network, we are going to be bringing you continuous, interesting conversations, interesting encounters, interesting experiences, education, knowledge, and a lot of laughs and a lot of fun, folks. So you don't want to miss it. So we
when people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Welcome back to Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. We are here today talking about sex trafficking with Tyler Hodges, who works in a residential treatment facility right here in Houston with youth 12 through 17. And he has a buttload of experience.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know, y'all. Anyway. Hi, welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's
So I'm particularly excited about this part because with the apps, when I say people, I don't know. Like I've learned over years of us being together.
Yes.
I've learned so much from you that I didn't fucking know. Like I have no idea, and I've had to go and tell my parent or my friends who are parents, be like, "Did you know about this app?" And they're like, "No." And I'll be like, "Your kid's probably on it," and they'll go look and find all these crazy conversations. So I kind of wanted to do like specifics on like what are the apps and what do they do? How are they being like marketed to kids?
Sorry.
What?
I was just about to say, look, just get your kids a fucking flip phone and stop giving them smartphones and maybe
honestly,
that will help.
I am not against this idea. This comes up in sessions sometimes. We're like, what do we do about the phone? And I'm like, get a damn flip phone.
Yeah.
Because we understand the need for kids to have phones. Like you need to be able, especially like in Houston, you need to be able to get a ride.
Yeah.
Like,
Not even Houston, like just in general, teens live through their phones.
Yeah.
And then when quarantine hit, it became just technology was their life.
Yeah.
And I get it. Connection's huge and it's super important. And like, get off these goddamn apps.
Yeah,
please.
I'm about to lose it.
Yeah. So, like, which one do you want to start with?
I would say the biggest, most annoying one currently. Actually, there's two.
Okay.
It's Discord, which there is an app for, but like most people don't use the app. They use it on their gaming systems.
Okay.
And then the other one is Snapchat. And
still?
Yeah, Snapchat has not died. It is alive and thriving, and boy, is it working for the kids.
Okay, so take it through. Like, what is Discord? How do they use it? Because like people have no idea.
Discord.
Yeah, people never. Adults
Discord
haven't heard of it.
is like the Reddit of live streaming. Is the best way I could explain it.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of different separate chat rooms and groupings for like everything from probably a BDSM community to a Minecrafting server.
Yeah.
And all ages go anywhere they want to, doing whatever they want to, however they want to. And kids don't give a shit. They don't know. They're naive and innocent to the world around them. And
yeah, you're not necessarily seeing faces. Like if there is video, they can black out their videos. I mean, we're talking about like just you can easily be a predator on it. And predators already know about it. So we're actually not giving information to predators. They are very aware.
No, they're fully aware. Yeah, no, completely. And so like you don't know, right, with the internet, there's anonymity, so you never really know who you're really talking to. Yeah. All these kids are like, oh no, like I've talked to them in real life. One of them's like, what you mean real life? Well, like we talked on the phone. And I was like, okay, well, did you FaceTime them? Like, well, no. And then some of them were like, well, yes. And I was like, were they the age they were supposed to be? And they're like, well, yeah, I knew they were going to be 28. And I was like,
why?
No.
13-year-old, why are you talking to a 28-year-old? Okay, but also,
really nice.
Where is Discord being used? Like, what in the house is Discord on?
I mean, tablets, phones, computers, definitely gaming systems, I think, or you can at least set it up so that it can be on your gaming systems.
Okay.
Because there's apps on everything now, right? Like you can download an app to anything.
Yeah.
At this point, like you can use it anywhere at this point. And so like it's a really messed up place if you go too deep in like anything, right?
But it's kind of like the dark web of teen apps.
It's where teens go for everything, really, like because they get like it's like what AOL chat rooms used to be for us. I don't know if anybody remembers those.
I definitely remember those. I remember finding myself as like a 12, 13-year-old
talking to
whatever something and being like, but at least I had the wherewithal to be like, this is weird.
Oh, I did not. And so, things happen. Anyway.
Yeah, so what is a likely scenario for how they would lure a kid? Like, how have you seen it play out?
Well, it's really simple. Like, it's just simple as, being a friend with them, and they start, like, kids connect really easily when they hear someone's listening, and it just goes to...
And, like, you can request to be in, like, these friend groups, and they'll just be like, oh, you don't seem creepy at all. We'll let you in this group. And you can
and we can game together and all this stuff. And then it's like, oh, how about this? Send me this thing. Send me that thing. Or I want to send you this thing. And then, like, it kind of grows from there to, like, possible nude photos to just inappropriate talking to whatever it is. And then, it's like, come meet up, or are we even in the same area together? Because you don't know with Discord, or it can just stay virtual. Like trafficking can happen virtually. It does not have to be live.
Yeah,
like it does have to be in person, face to face trafficking.
Yeah. Okay. So what about Snapchat? How do you see that being used? Because I think that's a little more surprising for adults, given that they kind of just thought it was like a 20-year-old kind of thing, and then it died down. But you're saying
I know kids use it for finding drug dealers. They use it to find anything they really want. It's not a really. They've tried to monitor it, but like remember, Snapchat started like getting really big because it was showing porn and deleting it immediately. Like that's how it came out. That's how it really like. That wasn't their intention, but that's where it started. It was
the
like
deleting thing. I think was
right.
It
rapid
became
deleting.
the cheaters' favorite website. As
But like big
well.
secret to the kids and parents, like that shit doesn't go away. Like you can call the company and have it legally requested to have the information. They might fight you a little bit, but like your child's a minor and you find they're doing stupid shit, like
good to know.
go for it. Like nothing gets deleted in this world. We can find it all, as my mother likes to tell me.
Yeah, so but they seem to be under the guise that because Discord, because no one really knows about it, we're not adults mostly, and then Snapchat, because it disappears, well, they're fine, and they're going to be okay, and these people that they're going to be are going to be fine.
And like Snapchat's like anything, right? Kids don't private their accounts. I think a lot of families think, or parents think that their kids are privating their accounts. No, that's just like they have it all public. They are finding people you've never heard of, don't know where they come from, that aren't even in their school districts. Like they're in different states. Like they don't care. They're hunting down any person.
Yeah, and your kids are probably dating someone on one of these apps.
Oh yeah, also like Instagram, like direct messaging, stuff like that.
Or dating.
Yeah, public dating, you know, when it's public. And then there's the trend that happened a little bit, that still kind of thing, you know, Finstagrams, which is fake Instagram accounts that you build for, you know, so your parents don't see what you're doing.
Yeah. They talked about that on Ginny and Georgia just the other day.
Yeah, so like they do
it's
it.
A show on Netflix.
It's on that show on Netflix.
I saw that and was like, I will never watch this, but okay.
I watched it.
No.
I watched it.
I could not, because they said it was supposed to be the new Gilmore Girls, and it was not.
It was not.
I wasn't into Gilmore Girls.
It was not Gilmore Girls. Nope. It was, but anyway, that could get totally off topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the moms on there, she had the wherewithal to be like, oh no, they have a fake. Let's find their real one. And she talks like this. That's why I'm talking like this. Now, she had a thick Southern accent. Anywho,
She did.
Got you.
You know. Yeah. So like, really, just like looking out for anything. Also, like Twitch streaming and stuff like that.
Oh, Twitch, yeah, for sure.
Twitch is a big one.
Well,
again,
explain Twitch though, because a lot of people.
Twitch is definitely like just full on gaming streaming platform. You get to, it's like YouTube for gaming essentially, except you can live chat. You send money to people. They can send money to you on there. There's different groupings that you can fall into with there, looking up for different subscribers and stuff like that. And because it's such a live connection and community kind of space stuff, that you end up making friends on it, which was great for quarantine people to have a support system. And then it also like, it's also easy to get trafficked.
Yeah.
That's I think a good question. How do you think words? You got this. Words.
Yep.
How do you think the quarantine and pandemic has changed, if at all?
It's actually increased trafficking.
Okay.
It's made it easier for a lot of kids that are coming into our building are actually running away more because they can't stand being at home anymore. They've lost all of their social systems, and they're solely communicating online, which is making it easier to meet predators that way and things like of that nature. So it has. I'm pretty sure it has increased.
Wow.
My teacher friends, the whole first month were so broken. Like I spent every week talking to like particularly one of my like really good friends who doesn't live here. But anyway. She was bawling because she was going, oh my God, my kids are going to get the shit beat out of them. Because she was like, now they don't have school to go to. And like, she was carrying that weight on her for like the whole first month of like, oh my gosh, now we're in quarantine and they're going back to abusive homes with trauma. Yep. And what are they going to do? They're going to run away and then more abuse. I mean, it's terrible.
Like some of the kids like are going back homes to their trafficker.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going home to their parents. They're going home to their trafficker. It's where they're quarantining.
Yeah, it's all just happening right in front of our eyes every day, all day.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
I got dark again.
Got dark again. We'll bring it back.
Strap-ons. Bringing it back. Just kidding. So one of the questions that we had here is, so you said earlier that they're sending nudes through these different platforms and whatnot. When you talk to the kids, what are their thoughts and feelings on the nudes that they're being asked for or that they're sending?
It's normal. Like we do this all the time. Like at that point, right? Like they've been like truly and fully on traffic. That's like what we were supposed to do. Like this is not wrong. And then like the scary thing is like trafficked kids end up becoming groomers. right? And so they groom people the other teens that are around them, which gets a little messy sometimes when we're in a residential facility because they're trying to groom some of our kids without knowing they're grooming them.
Yeah.
And so like it's just like they think it's normal, and then like it's not an odd thing. Like it's normal social behavior for teenagers to send nudes and things like that. Like I know it's not appropriate and it's technically child pornography and all that other fun stuff, which I try to teach the kids. They don't give a shit. And like we just gotta roll with it and make sure like, are you sending? If you're doing it, are you doing it appropriately, and are you like being safe about it? And all those kind of consent talks and things like that.
How are you safe? How are you being safe with sending nudes? Like, what is?
You're not, but like, you can't,
you're not.
You can't tell a kid no, though. Like, right? Tell a kid no, they're gonna do more, and so it's like, okay, well, what are the precautions we can put in place here, and hope for the best?
Do you think? Go ahead.
Nudes is like the first thing. Any teens that I have seen, I'm like, are you sending nudes? And don't bullshit me. And if you are, fucking delete them right now. I'm not playing with you. Like, I don't care what else you do, but like, get the nudes out of the way. Like, these are things that do not go away.
Yeah.
It's child pornography. Anyway.
I was going to ask, do you think that if parents took a more active role and were better educating their kids on like even sex education, that would help decrease things?
I think for sure, yeah. But like, that's a battle I don't know if we'll ever win.
No, but we will have a conversation here on this show about talking to your damn kids about sex education. But that'll be another time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're all family therapists and we work in systemic ways. So, I mean, we believe in changing like the whole system. It just takes a long time. Yeah.
It does for sure.
Venmo. That was okay. That one was the
big.
interesting one for me. Was Venmo.
Oh yeah,
that
Venmo?
Is something I think parents would be completely unaware of.
Yeah, well, all kids have Venmo. Like I think Venmo is a big thing for
Cash App, by the way.
Yeah, it is a Cash App. Just like Cash App is a Cash App. Zelle. All those other things, you know, right? Anything to transfer money, right? I don't know how often it is played in the sex trafficking role, but like definitely in substance use and stuff like that, it comes up huge. Like kids don't pay for drugs in cash anymore; they Venmo people.
That is so wild to me. Like paying for drugs in Venmo. Like as a kid,
Yeah, they meet their dealers on Snapchat. They pay them on Venmo.
Wow. Do they not? I can't remember when I first set up my Venmo account because I've had it for so long now. Do you not have to have a bank account to set it up?
Most kids have bank accounts now.
Do they really?
In Venmo, you can actually set up a bank account on there.
Okay.
Yeah, like parents aren't trying to pay their kids. Parents are trying to give their kids money through Venmo. Like they're like, I don't want to give you cash here.
Interesting.
Press the button. There you go.
That's interesting. I mean, when I was a kid, I had my own bank account, but I didn't know my bank information. Only my mama knew that shit.
No, I think Venmo can act as a bank account, right?
Okay.
So like it can store the money in Venmo and use it to send it out.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's interesting.
And kids lie about their ages all the time if there is an age restriction. So.
I mean, most of us were probably fine.
Well,
as me and Tyler do like this.
No comment.
What?
I'm innocent. I was a great child. My mom could say nothing bad about me.
Why? I just met him today, and I feel like that's not true. Just a vibe.
Only because she knows if you're my best friend.
That is a huge part of it.
That's fair.
And on that note, we're going to take our last break. And when we come back, we're going to learn more about these dirty, needed people over here. Just kidding. We're not. We're going to continue learning about sex trafficking, what to look out for, and how you can help and be hopefully a part of the solution. Thank you. The cure. The cure. I don't know. Like, okay. Well, obviously, I work way too much with like Alzheimer's Association and other like cancer stuff. Not the cure. Solution. So stay tuned. Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. We'll be right back.
The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health physically, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually, because there's so much out there in misinformation. There's a lot of people now that are suffering from all sorts of diseases that they really wouldn't have to suffer for if they had better information. And that's what we're here to do. Provide information that can save lives.
The mind and the body are totally connected.
Health can be really serious, and sometimes we just have to lighten it up a little bit while we're still providing substantive information. And, my sort of mantra on the salsa dance floor is kind of similar. I tell somebody, if you make a mistake twice, it becomes a move. Okay?
Tune into Natural Nation every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Edge Radio TV is holding auditions for new show hosts. Are you a subject matter expert, professional, influencer, book author, thought leader, or business owner with an educational or motivational platform? Then we want to meet you. Send a link of some of your work to edgeradio20@gmail.com and be sure to put audition in the subject line. Join the Edge Radio TV family. Edge TV, because truth still matters.
And we're back. This is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I love that I left to look at my cup and be like, what is the name of my own show?
I've been holding myself back from introducing you guys the entire time because I watch it so much.
Oh, we should have. Damn it. Okay.
I was like, I'm going to cut them off. I was like, welcome back.
Man.
Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen.
Yeah. See, Tyler
This is
gets
Jennifer
it.
Reeves. This is Hendrik Scott.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we'll just have you there every show. We'll just put you there. But anyway, we're with Edge Radio TV. We're two licensed marriage and family therapists, certified sex therapists, here to entertain you today with another licensed marriage and family therapist.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the Houston, Texas.
So I find all of this information fascinating.
Yeah.
Because I was unaware of a lot of it. And then also every single time I go to ask any of my clients, they are unaware of it. I'll just like throw it out and be like, what's your, like, I'll ask something about Discord and like put in a conversation to see where they're at, and they're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "You have 3 teenagers. You need
One
to know."
of them
what
is
this
at least on Discord.
Yes,
If not all.
Yes.
Jeez.
Man. Okay, but
Yeah,
so
my
the
niece
Venmo-
and nephew are on Snapchat, so as you're talking about that, like I'm already like just over here
Yeah.
freaking the fuck out about it.
I do want to like clarify, like I work with some like the worst populations possible, right? Like it's not an everyday thing, people. It happens a lot here for sure.
Yeah.
And like not all of your kids are out there, bumming out there with their abusers, or traffickers. Like,
yeah, it's true. It's just you get to see what it
get
looks
to see it
like
a
in the
lot.
worst case scenario, which
Yeah.
it shouldn't be
Oh, yeah.
happening. Yeah.
Are there? Do you think that are there signs that parents can be aware of, like that their child might be?
Yeah, I would say like if like it's very hard to tell, right? Because it looks a lot of mental other health stuff, and so I was like, if your kid is isolating, if they're not talking to you, if they have some new friend that you've never heard about, and it sounds weird, like look into it, right? Like don't just be like, no, I trust my kid, da 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 da.
Like, who the hell is Bob?
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Like you don't
My
you don't
battery
know.
operated
like,
boyfriend.
looking out for like like weird interactions with your neighbor, family members, right? Like traffickers are anybody, right? It's not just a random stranger. It's most often not like any abuser. Like it's most often the person you know. It's someone you know. And so like school systems, family members, and like just like anyone really. And then when it comes to the internet stuff, like just monitor your kids' shit. Like know what they're using. You can have access to your kids' accounts. Just because they were like, that's an invasion of privacy. No.
Yeah, F that.
You gave them a door on their bathroom. Like, move on.
You gave them a door on their bathroom. That's enough privacy. That's all you get.
Like, if it's getting to a point where like you're super concerned about your kid, like honestly, like you have access to your kids' accounts.
Yeah.
Like you can get access. Like they can. What are they gonna do? Like, no, you can't do that. I'm taking my phone back. Like,
And they already hate you. Like,
right,